Hey, Kanan here. Today I'm just making a quick video about how to use the Dehancer film emulation plugin for Davinci Resolve. The version I'm using today is Davinci Resolve 17, but this will be very similar. Dehancer has actually a good instruction manual to show you how to get the plugin installed. You install the file onto your computer and then go into Davinci Resolve to set up in the preference, and then also put in your licensing information in it. I guess this video starts from that point on and shows you how to apply a specific Dehancer film emulation on a single clip as well as multiple clips altogether, and different ways of doing that. So yeah, let's just hop on the computer and jump right in. I just created a regular timeline, dragged in a bunch of clips that I want to apply a film simulation or emulation to. So I just have a generic timeline, dragged a bunch of clips that I took with my Canon R6. I shot in C-Log to use as a starting point. So once you have all these clips in Davinci Resolve, there's a couple of ways where you can get the film emulation applied to a clip. I'll show you two methods. The first one is by going into Effects panel, go to Open FX, and if you scroll down to the bottom, you should see the film emulation from Dehancer Pro at the bottom. You'll just need to drag it onto the clip that you want to apply to, and you will see that there's a FX symbol next to your clip. Once you see that, you can come over to the window on the right, and under Effects, now there is the Dehancer Pro 6.3 that has been applied. And from this point on, you can start playing with your film emulation. So the source that I have here today is from Canon, so they have the option to choose a camera. It was pretty surprising to see that my camera was actually on the list. It was cool to see that they have a variety of cameras that supported. Some are missing, like I guess for Fuji they don't have the X-T4, X-T5. But for Canon, my R6 is in here. And the format, log 709. After that, you can play with some exposure compensation and some temperature compensation, adjust the tint, defringe. I won't do the defringe. And then next, in the next section, there's a film, and this is where you pick your film. For today, instead of my Lightroom plugin video, I will do FUJICHROME VELVIA 100. As you can see, there is quite a bit of grain already applied. There's a bunch of things from the film developer and film compression tools, and you can expand the black and white points and adjust it there to your liking. You can do linear, or you can print it to actual type of film. That also changes the final output. I'll do linear, which avoids, I think it just skips that additional processing to printing onto, I guess, paper film. And I think when I've been playing around with this plugin a little bit, the default amount of grain seems a little heavy to me. Maybe I'm so used to digital photography and videos of not seeing that amount of grain, and I always feel the need to reduce it a little bit. So I like a little bit of grain, but to me, the current image on the screen is too much. So you can adjust the amount here, and also the film resolution. And then reduce the amount of film grain in each of the shadows, midtones, and highlights specifically. And in this case, I'm going to drop them all down a little bit. I'll leave the shadows a little bit more. In addition to these, you can also turn on halation, bloom, and film breadth and gate weave. All you need to do is hit enabled, and then whatever settings you apply there will affect your image. So in this case, you can do the bloom, and increased impact. You can also enable vignetting. That's feathered. If you reduce the feather, you can apply that vignetting like that. You can disable it, enable it, feather it a little bit more. So yeah, in terms of the other settings, you can just hit enable or disable. And now that effect is applied to this clip. So that is the effects applied directly on a clip. The alternative way you can do this is going to the next clip here. You can go into your colors tab. You can add a new node. So in your colors tab, you can actually go down to the library here and find the film emulation Dehancer Pro, and you can drop it into the node line in serial, and you can see it connects from so you can edit your initial clip and then it'll pass on to the next node. Besides setting it up this way, the actual plugin adjustments look exactly the same. They show up here on the right, and again, it's the same menu where you choose your camera. Let's do KODACHROME, just tint a little bit. Yeah, there's also the color head that you can adjust some of the colors and the shadow tones, midtones, and highlights. And everything is exactly the same as what I just did earlier using the effects tab. This is just another way of applying the plugin in a series of a bunch of different manipulations. So if you want to do more processing, you can do it in steps. And this is one way you can set this up. You can add multiple nodes. If you have other effects that you're trying to put in line, this is one way to do it, where you can drag other features in. So I only have the free version of Davinci Resolve, so I don't have this lens flare option. But yeah, so that is how you can quickly drop in the node for the Dehancer plugin and do the same amount of adjustments in the colors tab in Davinci Resolve. If you want to apply that same transformation, the one that I just did for the KODAK KODACHROME, if I want to apply that to another clip, one way you can do this is right-clicking. You can grab a still and then go to the next clip. So the still that you grab will show up here under your gallery as image, and then you can apply grade. And then, so you can see there, it recreated the Dehancer Pro node in there, and now both clips here are graded the same style with the same settings of your plugin. So that is two ways you can use the Dehancer Pro film emulation plugin. As a recap, the first way is to use the effects tab when you're in your edit window in Davinci Resolve. You can go to effects right here and go to open FX and pull in the film emulation effects directly onto the clip. That is one way of applying the effect to the clip. The second method is to go into the colors tab and add the Dehancer Pro as a second node in series with your image processing. From this color grade side, you can quickly, in this color tab, you can quickly apply the same edits to multiple clips by doing capture or grab still and then applying grade to multiple clips. So I'm gonna share one more way of applying the plugin effects to multiple clips all at once. And if you go in effects and you go into video toolbox effects, you can use adjustment clip, drag that into your timeline. in a layer above a bunch of your clips. You can drag it for the full duration of all your clips. I'll actually ignore this clip because that wasn't most the one that I used the other method to show you. So I'm gonna drag the adjustment clip over 3 clips. Right now, the video on the 3 clips look like this. So once I have this adjustment clip, the same two method works. You can either go to the Open FX here and go to the Dehancer, and you can drag the FX onto the adjustment clip. And now when you click on the adjustment clip and go into effects, you will see all your options here. The same settings to set up the plugin. So I'm going to reduce the grain. Again, I think that's just my own personal preference. But I really like that you can get the color grade from, I guess, the film stock, and then you still have the ability to adjust it to suit what you want to see visually, which is very nice to have. Yeah, I really like it. So you can have a little bit of control if too much grain is not something that you are a fan of. But so whatever settings you apply over in this effects tab that's on this adjustment clip is now applied to all these clips. So if I were to say disable this track where the adjustment clip is, you can see it's back to the original 3 clips. So just to repeat that, if you put in a new adjustment clip throughout the length of all that, all 3 clips here, you can go to the colors tab. You'll see your adjustment clip show up here as well. Instead of editing each one of the clips, you can apply the Dehancer node onto this adjustment clip that you see here. Again, Superia 1600. And now when you go back to your edit timeline, you can see that this is applied to all 3 sets of clips just by making that node change on your adjustment layer. So hopefully that helped you to understand how to use this plugin and find different ways to apply the same effects onto multiple clips, and 2 different approaches to how you make the color adjustment. Yeah, I just wanted to make this quick video showing that. It's pretty fun. I like playing around with it. I like that it gives you each of those film options gives you an initial starting point. And from that starting point, there's a bunch of additional settings like removing the film grain or reducing it, or adjusting the vignetting and adjusting the color and everything else. For me, I haven't done a lot of color grading in Davinci Resolve, but this was a quick way to get some specific look to your footage without diving into the color grading tab in depth, because in Davinci Resolve there's just so many menus and so many things you can do to adjust the color. And I think with the Dehancer Pro plugin, I think I might start using it quite a bit to edit my C-Log Canon log files. I never really shot in log before because I didn't want to deal with lookup tables and LUTs to make the image look the way I want to afterwards. But with this plugin being so easy to manipulate and change the setting and to get some unique looks, I think I'll start using it more in my videos and how I record, and for specific projects it gives a certain look, that film look, that is unique. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you decide you want to try the plugins, I think they have a free trial on their website, and if you end up deciding to buy it, you can use a promo code CNSAVE, I believe that's what the promo code is, and you can save 10% I'll include the details in the description. And yeah, I just hope this video was helpful in showing you what this plugin can do and how you can actually use it in Davinci in workflows on adjusting a single clip and multiple clips at once using the adjustment clip method. And yeah, hope you have a good one and see you in the next video. Cheers. And if you want to stick around, I'll just show a couple clips of the graded footage that you saw me work through. I might still make some minor adjustments from the time I showed you in the video. I might add some of the film breadth and the gate weave into there. If you don't know what film breadth and gate weave is, you can check out their link and their explanation on their blog. Super helpful. On top of the plugin, I found that Dehancer had a good website with blogs and posts explaining their process for how they develop the film emulation part of their process, as well as describing each setting that you can adjust and what to do about each thing. I found that super useful and super educational for myself. I've never shot a lot on film, but it was very good for me to learn. Dehancer had a pretty cool vlogs posts. So this one's about film breadth and gate weave and what they're doing, explaining what it is. So film breadth, you can see the description of film breadth here and why it happens, and the variation you see, as well as gate weave when the projector and scanner, the positional changes of your film moving while playing back. That's the look that it's trying to replicate, and you can adjust different setting of the period, translation, rotation, and auto zoom. And also has a cool little demonstration of the features there with gate weave, film breadth, and gate weave put together. So yeah, I guess it's just besides their plugin, they also have good explanation of what the tools and what settings you can actually adjust. Let me know your thoughts about this film emulations on these videos in the comments below. Hope you enjoy. So I forgot to mention, besides the plugin for Davinci Resolve, you can also get this app on iOS for iPhones and iPads, and you can edit video and photos. You have the similar adjustments for the film emulation settings. For the video editing on the phone, you can actually do the gate weave and the film breadth as well. The only thing I've noticed on, at least on my iPhone 12 mini, maybe it's just the processing power is a little bit behind, but you'll definitely get some dropped frames on the playback when you apply film emulation. It's a little bit slower, but you can still see a couple shots and I guess preview images of what the final look would look like. But until you actually render it, it's the playback in the app, I think, is a little bit slower. I don't know if it's just on my iPhone 12 mini, if the newer phones play it back smoother, especially the ones with the M1 chip. As for on the computer, on the Dehancer, for the Dehancer plugin in Davinci Resolve, I also saw during playback, after you add as a node or effect, that it did slow down the playback. There was some dropped frames during the playback, but I don't think it's related to the plugin. It's just anytime there's a heavier file, log file, along with additional processing involved, it does work a little bit harder. And my M1 chip has the integrated, I guess, GPU, so it's limited there as well. So maybe on a computer with a dedicated graphics card, you might be able to achieve the full 24 frames per second playback, but I wasn't able to do it on my M1 mini. So if you don't want to edit this type of film emulation on a desktop computer, but you're interested in the emulation for photos and video on your phone, you can check it out on the iOS App Store. And yeah, just check it out. And I think they have a trial version that you can download, and you have a limited number of exports, but you can definitely try it out before you end up subscribing to a one-year plan for their iOS app. But yeah, so I guess this is the official end to the video. I'll see you in the next one.